Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, all right? Make sure you log it in and you remember to check out my good friends over at the Broken Table Podcast live on YouTube. These are some of my good friends. They have some of the best topics going on. They're talking about a lot of good things. And also, they like to put over the Prince Nana dance. Hey, I swerve and I drive. I swerve and I drive. Hey. Don't forget, tune in, log on to the Broken Tables Podcast live on YouTube, my friends.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, the reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion. Rome, how you doing tonight, sir?
Jeff, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm here just so I don't get a fine.
Here so you don't get fined. I understand. I like how you're giving everybody a nice little backstage glance into the stream there. Nice.
I'm currently watching the Phillies game.
Yep. We are both decked out in our Phillies gear here. I like it. What's the score right now? 7-0?
It is currently 7-0 after a Bryson Stott fucking grand slam in the postseason.
Yeah, boy, look at this. Yeah. Bryson Stott from Las Vegas, from UNLV, the college I dreamed of going to when I was a kid, but
one of the only two things that come out of Vegas.
Things did not turn out the way I had planned them, so... But welcome everybody to our AEW Dynamite review. This was a freaking great episode of Dynamite here tonight, man. Like, absolutely loved this episode of Dynamite.
I'll speak on what I can, but a lot of the times tonight, I'm going to have to tell you, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I like it. Oh, is this gone?
No, it's not gone.
Off the wall, it's okay.
Park. It looked good, though. Turner knew it. He was like, damn, a little short. It's all right. Coach, I'm glad you got it.
All right. Well, here we are for the 4-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite in Stockton, California tonight. Really, really good crowd here tonight. This crowd, they knew every cue when they were supposed to get loud and cheer. Like, they didn't miss a single cue here tonight. So good on the old Stockton crowd there. And we start off the night with Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega with Renee Paquette backstage. And as they start cutting a promo, Adam Copeland shows up immediately on the show. Really, really liked having him show up immediately here. Kenny says to him, you had me on the edge of my seat. And I kind of popped for that one. So did the crowd. You could hear everybody cheering for that one. And he says, he's happy to be here, and later on he's going to explain himself, and he's amped for the 4 years. So I thought this was awesome, man.
Yeah, I think it's an iconic moment in AEW. That shot of Kenny and Edge. Yeah, that's a hell of an iconic shot for them. So
yeah,
awesome stuff.
They met for the first time at Wrestle Dream. That was the first time that he had met Kenny. So that's pretty cool. Let's go over to the chat real quick and say what's up to everybody before we move on. We got Coach Nick in the chat. We got the Canadian War Machine. We also got Michael Duke. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys very much for being here already. Oh, Ryan Davis is here with us already as well. Thank you guys very much. Next up was our first match of the night, the AEW International Championship, Rey Fenix versus Nick Jackson. And dude, this match kicked ass. We had Rey Fenix retaining his AEW International Championship, defeating Nick Jackson. Dude, I mean, here's what I wrote down. Nick Jackson is incredible. Rey Fenix is incredible. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's all I wrote down. These two guys are just unbelievable, and they have chemistry that I'm not sure I've ever seen two wrestlers have as good a chemistry as Rey Fenix and Nick Jackson.
So I would say that I really liked the spot where they were both on the apron, and Nick goes to kick Fenix. Fenix dodges. Nick looks like he absolutely slams his foot into the fucking ring post.
Dude, I thought he did.
And then Fenix kind of flips him over with a sweep. And I thought that was really great.
That was one of
Other
my
than
favorite
that-
spots of the match. The way Nick sold that sweep of his foot, it looked like he DDT'd himself straight face first into the apron. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no, the match was really good. It was exactly what I would have expected from the two of them. I mean, obviously the Bucks and Lucha Bros have great chemistry. And the match I thought was excellent. I think it was my favorite actual wrestling on the show.
You know what?
Pretty
I think I might agree with you on that one. I'll have to go through all of the notes here but as of right now, I do believe I'll put that as my match of the night as well. Rey Fenix defeats Nick Jackson with the high roll up, you know, that stack roll up that he does that just seems to get the win just about every time. Love it. After the match, did you notice Rey seemed to be crying a little bit? Like, I'm wondering if he just had such a good time finally wrestling Nick again, you know, and just having a championship involved this time or what, but looked like Rey was crying a little bit when he was laying on the mat.
I was a little concerned about maybe an injury, but hopefully not. We'll see.
Yeah, me too, but I don't think so. Just seemed like he was really, really happy to have, you know, just had that match, and I think he knew how good that was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, we had a recap of Roddy and MJF and Adam Cole. This was a huge bummer because the audio from inside the arena was able to be heard, but you could not hear the actual video audio here. I was pretty bummed out by this, you know, but they did absolutely make up for this here in just a few minutes. But even without the audio, this looked pretty funny. But once we actually got it with the audio later, it was really good. But I wanted to talk with you about this because this right here may have been the last straw for me. Whoever has been responsible for these terrible audio issues, I think it is finally time. Like, they've had their chances. I think it's been at least 6 months of every other Dynamite has had a problem. I think it's time for someone new. And we just had quite a few layoffs over at the E. I'm imagining somebody might be available.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's available, but I mean, yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because if you didn't, I was definitely going to. I think that it's an embarrassment for the company. And like, I know some people would probably be like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. One issue here and there is not a big deal. No. But it happens often and frequently enough that it's an occurrence. It continues to happen and it just can't. You can't like you're not going to obviously take like the number one spot from WWE by like having no audio issues. Like, I don't think that's the make or break, obviously.
Yeah.
Nor is that the goal. WWE is 50 years ahead of them. They're just trying to be as competitive as possible. But I think that at the end of the day, like, you can't keep doing this. Like, you just can't because it ruins a lot of segments. Now, granted, they go on and fix it later in the show. Like, that's great. But the problem is that the fact remains that the segment was worse off for it because I was watching it without sound. So, like, I already knew kind of what was going to happen. Now, obviously, when hearing some of the jokes, really loved those jokes. I thought it hit really well. Loved what I heard later on the second
music,
time around. Yeah, but like, and that was all great. But like, oh, okay, so I kind of understand what I'm getting into going into this. So it wasn't as enjoyable the second time around. because I already knew like Roddy and Adam gonna roll around the kitchen, and like that's hilarious. That's great. This segment was really good. It was excellent. But it's just like you do these things and it makes things worse. Like the quality of the product is lowered. It makes things less enjoyable. Because like number one, that like thinking back a few weeks to the Keith Lee Take 22 debacle. Like that promo was garbage. And but like it's even worse to get all of the problems with it. And like, and this is no different. It's just like this was a great segment that you went and you had these audio issues. And it's just like,
and this was on a whole nother
to me
level.
enough? Exactly. Like you like for example, and AEW has gotten a lot better at this, but something that AEW was really, really bad at its first like 2 years was its social media game. Like they would like double, triple tweet things. They would like not like they would have like a tweet where they were supposed to put something in a blank spot and they would leave it blank. Like they would do all this terrible stuff that was just like really bad social media work. And then at some point over like the last 2 years, they kind of really tightened up and fixed it. And I don't think I've seen an issue from their social media in like 2 years. It's like, well, we need that level of scrutiny now in your audio production department, because like it's the little things that come together that really make the company do well. We're going into the bottom of the 8th inning, 7-0. Great. But like, yeah, like you can't. You just can't. Like we can come up with excuses. Obviously we want AEW to do well, and I'm able to speak to it from a place coming from the heart where I love the company. I want the company to do well, but like you just can't do this. You can't keep doing this with these terrible audio issues. It's just a bad look. I don't care if you re-air the promo later on so people get to enjoy it. I don't care about all that. You just got to fix the problem.
Yeah, and like when I said this was on a whole nother level tonight, if you didn't see it, so this was an entire one of those video taped segments with Adam Cole and MJF, like the whole 2-minute thing, no audio. You could sort of hear what was going on through the arena, but it was nowhere near enough to know what was happening here. So those little audio issues we've had small problems with over the past 6 months, but this was on a whole nother level, like I was saying. And that's why I think this should have been the last straw here. Somebody needs to definitely go. I don't know what happened, but that one was rough. I was not happy here.
Yeah, no.
But
not at all.
Next up, we had Griff Garrison in the ring. Oh, I was softballing that up for you, but all right.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
There we go. Griff Garrison versus Wardlow. I was super happy to see a returning Wardlow here. He looked awesome. And I was really proud of this crowd tonight again, because they started cheering for Wardlow as if he never left. You know what I mean? They were chanting Wardlow, Wardlow right as his entrance was going, and it was just the crowd just continued on like it was the last time we'd seen him. You know what I mean?
I think it's a testament to the company and to the booking that Tony Khan does. I mean, again, we give Tony a hard time for not keeping television on TV, or not keeping talent on TV. But I mean, you see it all the time. You see it with the Acclaim. The Acclaim lose the tag titles. They kind of fall off for a month or two, and they come back with the trios story, and they're still on fire. They're still just red hot. And so, I mean, yeah, I think it's a testament to the company and the booking, the fans as well, obviously. I was surprised to see Wardlow back tonight.
So was I.
It doesn't seem like they have anything for him story-wise, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they have something for him, which is why they brought him back.
Yeah, I'm assuming that as well. And he looked like he was a man on a mission, went out there and just absolutely destroyed Griff Garrison here. This is one of those times where, like, I know you don't like squashes, and I'm not a big fan of them either, but this actually felt like it was warranted. Wardlow's coming back. Kind of a return, I guess, for Griff Garrison, and Wardlow just beats his ass.
First of all, I'm mad at ESPN because Bryson Stott's currently coming up to the plate for the first time since his Grand Slam, Fans begin giving a standing ovation, and then they try to cut away. Okay, we're back then. All right, good. This man deserves a standing O. This man hit a grand slam in the postseason. I think Nat in the Discord said there's only like 32 of these or something.
Yeah, Michael, there's a running joke back in the day on BTE with Griff Garrison where anytime somebody like mentioned him, they'd be like, did they say what is or who is?
No, they'd be like, "Who the fuck?" Okay,
Yeah,
so
who
here's
the fuck
here's
is
how it
Griff
started.
Garrison?
So the way it started, and one of my favorite BT gags ever. So the Dark Order, when they were actually good, tried to recruit people, and so they have Silver and Reynolds go out on BT every week and try to recruit people from the AW roster. And one week they tell Brody that they've kidnapped Jungle Boy, and they got Jungle Boy to join the Dark Order. And so like Brody's like, "Oh my God, Jungle Boy, one of the pillars, you got him? That's great." And so they go into the room and they turn the chair around, and it's Griff Garrison. And Brody King's like, "That's not Jungle Boy, that's Griff Garrison." And John Silver says, "Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?" And Brody throws his papers at everyone like he did. So yeah, that's one of my favorite old school BTE jokes. But yeah, no, I mean, it was great to see Wardlow back, and I'll give this squash a pass because, like you said, it's Wardlow returning. Clearly he left the ring through the crowd, so maybe that's some sort of storyline starting up. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for that. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we'll see what's going on with that. Very glad to see Wardlow back. I enjoyed the match. So, just a quick the picture, Ryan Kirkering, Rome. I was paying attention to the price of his cards before this game and after. Mm-hmm. His autograph just jumped from $49.99 before this game to after that inning. It's $149.99 now.
Well, I'm sure he was a big Phillies prospect coming up as a pitcher. So the kid was just called up like 3 games before the season ended.
He only has one card out right now, and it's not even in a Phillies uniform. It's in his college. I can't even tell what college it is. But
yeah.
He's going to be good, man. That kid's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
All right, next up, we had a recap of the TNT Championship from Wrestle Dream with Adam Copeland's debut. That was a very nice little recap we had there. Next up, Don Callis was backstage with Renee Paquette and Takeshita. And he advises everyone that Sammy has been deemed unfit to perform. Sammy is not cleared, so Kyle Fletcher will be taking his place later tonight in that match. And, I don't know what they're going to do on the prediction site, but if I would have known it was Kyle Fletcher, I would have had a different answer in there. I chose Don Callis' family to win, but that was when Sammy was there, you know what I mean? But either way here, Kenny Omega and Jericho wind up that's not the match here. We're just doing this backstage thing with Don Callis. What did you think of them saying Sammy wasn't fit to perform? I didn't think he had any sort of an injury or anything. I didn't hear about anything, and I didn't see anything in the match that would have led us to believe that, right?
I mean, honestly, what I think it comes down to, and we saw something similar with Willow a few weeks ago. Honestly, there has been an uptick in COVID cases. So because even LA Knight had COVID recently. He was out for a week or two. Over on the Fed side. So my assumption is that it's just COVID's kind of ticking back up. I mean, it's never going away. It's just the reality of life. It's another flu. It's going to be a thing forever. I mean, it's not going anywhere.
I was thinking it might have been storyline because Mark Davis snapped his wrist in that match against FTR, which I kind of wanted to talk to you about that a little bit as well. So Kyle Fletcher's kind of, by himself now for a little while, with Mark injured again. So I was wondering if maybe they were just kind of putting him in there to get something going storyline wise. And, the match later did have a little bit of something going on with that. So, we'll talk about that as well. But
I mean, my counterpoint would be that Tony doesn't like to advertise things and not do them.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't think Tony would do that. And then on the day of the show, a very quick last minute change. It seemed very lazy, not lazy, but very hasty and very random.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why I would say I don't think it's storyline related. I mean, Sammy could be hurt. Sammy could have travel issues. I'm not saying he has COVID. Like, let's not run with that as factual. It's just something that I've observed. It's just,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
got you.
I hear things. I mean, one of
Yeah.
the girls I work with says that the dispensary she goes to, like they're making them wear masks again, which that's government run. So like if the government wants you to wear a mask in there again, that's, you know what I mean. I'm just saying, like, I'm just using real world logic
Yeah.
and what I read and what I see to make an assumption that
Listen, man,
maybe he's just out
yeah.
with that.
When you're in certain places, masks fine. I got nothing against it.
Oh, you know, I'm not commenting on. I'm just making it known what I've heard
Yeah.
and seen, and that's why I have the opinion that I do. That, you know, Willow being out the other week, Sammy being out this week, that's probably a reason. It's potentially a reason. I don't know for sure, but it's just a guess.
Yeah. All right. Next up was the replay of the Adam Cole and Roddy segment with the fixed audio. So, you know, I don't know what they had to do to fix it, but they got it fixed and they replayed the whole thing. This was hilarious, man. And that first song that they played in there that was like that 80s just like montage song, I absolutely love that. That was hilarious. But this was a very good segment, you know, although it was kind of ruined from the beginning, like you said, but I still enjoyed it here the second time.
Yeah, I think the segment was excellent. I think it was a really well made video package. We're seeing the continuation of this storyline, and it's been really enjoyable. It seems like the story is that they're trying to make Adam put off getting his surgery,
Yes.
which is a pretty dastardly heel thing to do, to be honest. Like they're kind of gaslighting him into not taking care of himself. That's pretty interesting in terms of story perspective. I like that. But also it could come from a place where Roddy doesn't realize what he's doing, but the kingdom does. So that could lead to something later on. We're gonna get a double play here? No, just single. That's fine. Okay.
I think Roddy knows what he's doing, but I like that. That's a good point, though.
No, because I think Roddy just misses his friend, and he just wants his friend to be there with him. Yeah, no, that was really funny.
So yeah, I was gonna ask you that. You know, you hit the nail on the head. It feels like they're trying to stall him from being able to go get his surgery. So, you know. All right, next up we had the AEW Trios Championships. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. And you know, they kind of took away the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip's entrance to kind of fill it in with a little bit of that Cole segment, you know. So, not sure if they made up any time there, but seemed like a good idea. And the Acclaimed pick up the win here against the Butcher, Blade, and Kip. It was a great match, you know, nothing to write home about. It was pretty much what you would imagine, just a few minutes. Butcher Blade got a few good shots in. So did Kip. Kip's really good, man. I wish we had a spot better suited for Kip rather than just, you know, one of the jobbers, because he's really good, man. But you know, it'll do for now. And the Acclaim pick up a good win here.
So we're one out away from the NLDS, but I will say that in terms of this match, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Woo! 100-mile-an-hour strikeout. Let's go.
I'm a little ahead of you, but
You're like 30 seconds ahead of me.
In terms of this match, strike one, baby. In terms of this match, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I didn't see any of this match. I'm sorry. I didn't see any of it.
It's all good. It's nothing to write home about. I'm not going to tell you to go watch it. You know what I'm saying? It was just an Acclaim match.
Yeah.
But next up, we had Tony Storm with RJ City in that hotel room again. This was incredible, Rome. If you didn't see this, I'm definitely going to tell you to go back and watch this. She cuts a just unbelievable, I don't even want to call this a promo because it wasn't a promo. This was literally like an actress cutting a scene. It was absolutely phenomenal from Tony Storm here. I'm so honest here. I would not be surprised if she starts getting a call from somewhere in Hollywood or somewhere in Warner of like, we want you in a movie. Like, that was incredible. You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't see it, you have to. You have to.
There was a commercial. I did see it. It was very good.
Okay. Timeless Tony Storm.
I mean, I don't think the acting was as great as you're thinking, but it was very, very good. Like, it was definitely excellent.
Like, for a wrestling show, I was blown away, dude. My jaw was on in my lap.
Marlins score. It's all right. We just got to get one more out. That sucks. That was a full count. No, yeah, the Tony Storm segment was really good.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Give me 1 second here. All right. Next up was Danielson cutting a pretty decent promo as well. This was on Zack Sabre Jr. I think we had already seen this on Twitter. It was maybe adding a little bit of extra to it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that I will say that they did post this from their socials. And I was actually thinking this the other day. AEW needs to start utilizing more of their online exclusive promos that they do, because some of it is so good and so many people never see it because it doesn't make TV.
Yeah.
Like, they need to put this stuff on TV, and I'm glad that they did here.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, we had a recap of the Swerve match versus Hangman. And we get informed that we are going to see Swerve versus Bryan Danielson for the #1 contenders match to the TNT Championship that is currently held by Father of the Year Christian Cage. 100
Jeff,
mile an hour, let's go.
We are going to the NLDS
against the Atlanta Braves, who did not want to see the Phillies in the postseason.
No, they did fucking not. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Next up, we had MJF and Switchblade Jay White, a recap of essentially their in-ring back and forth, and then the Masked Men attacking Jay White backstage. MJF said that the mask was stolen from his bag, right? Now, if you go back and check out, there's a scene with MJF and Adam Cole in the locker room in Wembley. And this is the one where MJF is like, you tried to break my neck like 6 times, man. The mask is actually hanging in the locker above Adam Cole. And the way that these lockers are built is they have these huge, like, dividers. So I was actually realizing that MJF can't see that mask above Adam Cole's head. So I think we actually do know who took the mask out of his bag.
Yeah, the type of stuff's usually red. That could be a red herring. You'd be
True.
surprised. They do throw a lot of red herrings out there. Unfortunately, this was a very exciting inning for the Phillies at this point. So in terms of this segment, I'm just here so I don't get fined. I have nothing to say, unfortunately. I saw Jay White attack MJF. I know that they're setting up for a match at Full Gear. Other than that, I have nothing to add here.
Hey, who was that pitcher throwing that gas, dude? 100 mile an hour right down the middle?
It was Soto, I believe.
Soto? Damn. You ever hit 100 mile an hour ball?
They're showing the Marlins, just watching them celebrate.
Have you ever gone to a batting cage and hit 100 mile an hour ball?
No, I have not.
It hurts your hands like you wouldn't believe. Like, you have to be extremely strong just to make contact with that ball. All right. Next up, we had Juice and the Bullet Club Gold, which was just the Guns coming to the ring. I don't know if you saw these signs out there, but there were some Fire Canada signs and also Fire Tomlin signs. Shout out to Queen Nat. I think she is one of the Fire on the crew of the Fire Tomlin in Pittsburgh. But we'll see. And they cut some promos on MJF and they call him out. And MJF does come out and he calls Juice a talentless taint and gets the crowd to chant talentless taint to him, which was hilarious. This was awesome, man. I absolutely loved this. And MJF basically challenges Bullet Club Gold to a Stockton street fight. And he gets in the ring and he gets attacked by Jay White from behind. Jay White hits the Blade Runner and steals the Triple B. Jay White has taken the AEW Championship from MJF and challenges him to a match at Full Gear. Obviously, MJF accepts the match, and we're going to see MJF versus Jay White at Full Gear in Los Angeles. They said the Staples Center. Am I right?
No, it's the Kia Forum.
The IKEA Forum. There we go. Did that used to be the Staples Center, or is that a whole nother arena? Do you know?
It's a whole nother building.
Whole nother building?
The
Gotcha.
Staples Center is now called the Crypto. I don't know,
the crypto.com.
Scam,
Yeah.
crypto scam currency. I don't. Bring on Atlanta. That's all I can say. Bring on Atlanta.
This was good, though. I'm glad that that's what we're going to get for Full Gear. We got a main event for Full Gear really, really early in the build for the show, no? What do you think about that?
I did think that. I was like, man, we're like almost 2 months away, it feels like. Well, I guess a month and a half.
Yeah, and like we just had Wrestle Dream, and it's like, all right, we're already building the next one. I kind of like that.
Honestly, I was surprised that they aren't doing this match at Title Tuesday, because obviously NXT is loading up the box. You kind of want to see AEW do the same. And I think to an extent they did load up the box, but I guess they have a plan here. But if I was them,
you might be onto something.
I would have done the title match at Title Tuesday. That tells me that there's okay. So like, I mean, I'm gonna fantasy book this like 6 weeks out, 7 weeks out, whatever it is. So bear with me. Whatever happens. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if the next time we see the Devil and his boys would be Full Gear. I think Full Gear is where we see who they are, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Allow me to dream. Allow me to dream a dream, because at the end of the day, I'm living on a prayer. So CM Punk, right, when he got fired, right, and he did that MMA show, it was like the first thing he did post being fired, and he said, "Oh, I got nothing to do for 2 months," and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Survivor Series is like 2 months from that point in Chicago," and I'm like, "Yeah, but so is Full Gear. Full Gear was also at that point 2 months away when he said it." So, a little bit of wishful thinking, but that would be a really, really dope way to end Full Gear if CM Punk was revealed as the Devil, and he says his line that the greatest trick the Devil ever pulled was making you think he didn't exist. I mean,
could I be wrong, dude?
Could I be wrong? Absolutely. At the end of the day, maybe I'm just a crazy guy on the internet who's just happy that his baseball team's going to the NLDS, but like, that would be the most amazing thing. That would be the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because it would be MJF. Like, the whole MJF face turn, like, makes sense at that point if you bring back a heel CM Punk. And what would help CM Punk get booed? But the fact that they are going to be in LA, which is California, which is Young Bucks country. That also would help that, if that would be the case. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to keep dreaming.
Bryson Stott, youngest player with 4 RBIs in Phillies history. By a long shot.
In the postseason.
By 2 years. That's awesome.
They manufactured it.
All right. Next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Orange Cassidy and Hook. Hook says Orange Cassidy should be facing Rey Fenix, not Mox. I was absolutely shocked at this. Little bit of a shot at Moxley, huh? What do you think?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm not even sure it's a shot at Moxley. I just think he's kind of stirring the pot. Do you think we're going to see Orange Cassidy versus Moxley again?
Maybe. I mean, you're right. It was kind of a weird thing for Orange Cassidy to say. Unless Cassidy... I mean, everything that Cassidy's done since losing the title is basically him showing how much he needs that belt back. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just...
I don't have an answer for you.
It was like one of those awkward Hook moments. He doesn't talk much, but he's like, I think you should be getting this, not Mox. And I was kind of like, wait, are you taking a shot at Mox, or are you just trying to help OC? It was weird, but I enjoyed it either way.
I wonder if they think... I mean, I know Mox was at Wrestle Dream on commentary, but a part of me wonders is like, maybe Mox isn't good to go. Like, I think maybe it's going to be like a day of the show decision where it's like, who's
Dude.
ready to go? Like, is Mox ready? If not, we'll throw out Orange Cassidy in there, and this is the way we can explain that to him.
Speaking of Moxley on commentary at Wrestle Dream, dude, that was some good stuff with Mox being on commentary, man. Like, I don't know if when we were doing the watch along, if we were giving it the credit it deserved. We may have. I didn't go watch back, but man, was he good at the commentary table.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next up, we had Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Don Callis family. It was Takeshita with Kyle Fletcher getting a shot to prove himself to Don Callis. But after a unbelievably amazing match, Jericho and Kenny finally defeated the Don Callis family. Don Callis was on commentary here, and immediately he started screaming, he failed us. The kid has failed us. I can't believe this. So it would seem that Don Callis is not happy with Kyle Fletcher, and he blames the loss on Kyle. So, what did you think of that before we get into the aftermatch stuff? What do you think of him blaming the loss on Kyle there?
The tag match from tonight, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see, I didn't even know they blamed Kyle. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Understood.
I didn't see any of this match.
Okay.
I saw the post match. I saw Hobbs. Saw that stuff. But
all right. So now that you mentioned the post match, so yes, while they were not looking, Will Hobbs did attack and absolutely annihilate Kenny and Jericho, along with the I think it was just with Don Callis and Takeshita. Kyle Fletcher kind of disappeared from ringside there. They duct taped Kenny Omega. Oh, damn. That was from I'm sorry. So I just saw a replay of the hit from Trey Turner that hit the pitcher. That was wild.
Oh yeah, that was crazy because actually I was watching that and the wife was actually down here at that point. And the crazy thing is that hitting the pitcher, like, number one, that's where they kind of broke the game open.
Turned the game around, yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, I was explaining to my wife that if it doesn't hit the pitcher, the Marlins defender was right behind where the pitcher was. Like, it wouldn't have been as successful as it was.
Oh, yeah, it would have been a double play probably.
It only would have been a double, yeah. So it probably would have gotten somebody out, I think. But
yeah.
well, I mean,
sorry for you guys that don't like baseball, but chin up, tits out, and tough titties.
Yeah, I mean,
but
look,
this
man.
was great. This match was fantastic. I would recommend you go check this one out because there were multiple times when I was just like, damn, Jericho can still go, man. Like, every time I think he's getting towards the end, he surprises me,
Yeah.
So yeah, Will Hobbs destroys everybody afterwards. They duct tape Kenny to the top rope, and Don Callis is the one to deliver a unprotected chair shot straight to Kenny Omega's face. Kenny Omega slumps down, and that was that. Kenny Omega's left hanging.
So
this was excellent.
I will say this. I think that I'm starting to have the opinion that this storyline, and it could be because of Kenny being selfless, I don't know what it is, but this storyline is beginning to just feel too one-sided for my taste. I mean, Don said it tonight, where it's like, people don't remember who won the battles; they remember who wins the war. And I guess at the end of the day, that could be the case here, where it's like, okay, well, Don and his family really gave it to Kenny and Chris for a while, but at the end of the day, they come out on top. But watching this week in and week out, I mean, yes, they picked up a win here or there, like tonight, but like, again, Kyle Fletcher taking the pin, like obviously that's very expected, and it also just kind of feels like, all right, I mean, you didn't pin Konosuke or Sammy, or Will Ospreay. So, like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, well, this is becoming a very one-sided thing. Like, how many times is Don going to stab Kenny in the head or hit Kenny with a chair? Mind you, complete heel shit. Unprotected head shot, chair shot. That shit was wild. Luckily, they had Don do it, who probably doesn't have a lot of strength to begin with. But I was just sitting there after that segment, and I was like, this is becoming a little one-sided. I don't know. I mean, now Hobbs is there too, so it's like, it's a very one-sided storyline, in my opinion. A
Yeah,
little too much. We gotta start seeing Kenny and Chris and Coda. We gotta start seeing these guys give some shots back because
yeah. I feel like it's become a
Sorry.
storyline with great matches, but it's a weak storyline. You know what I mean? Like we get great matches, but everything else is kind of weak.
I don't even think the storyline's weak. I wouldn't even say that. I just think that it's way too one-sided. Like they're like Kenny and Chris have yet to get one over on Don Callis. Like at no point has it ever felt like Don Callis was like had like haha like stuck it to Don Callis or you know what I mean? It's like Konosuke pinned Kenny twice in a row, and then like who won at Wrestle Dream again? Was it Don Callis' family again?
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, they did, right? Yeah. And it's like again, like I don't know, it's just a very one-sided feud and it's like there's only so many times like I'm going to continue to remain invested in this storyline.
Yeah, and even with Kenny and Jericho winning tonight, they pinned Fletcher, not anybody that's like really in the family, you know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's like it's not even really that much of a victory.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay with a feud being a wash and being a complete sweep, you know what I mean? Like it's okay to do that, but all right, well then it's probably getting about time to wrap it up. I mean, how many more times are we going to have Kenny and Chris try to take out this family if they've come up short like 3 or 4 times? And it's like, okay, so like, and Don talks about like the end of the war. Like, well, what's the end point? Because, I mean, we're just in perpetuity, just going forward regardless of the results clearly. So I don't know. It's just a bit of thought. It's just a critique. It's like, like, all right, well, kind of similar to what happened with the women's storyline.
Yeah.
That unfortunately fizzled out into nothing. Probably because they couldn't get Mercedes. But where it's just like, all right, well, where are we going with this? So like okay, so Don attacked Kenny again and Hobbs joined. So it seems like we're gearing up for another chapter of this storyline. You would have to assume that Kenny and Chris are going to bring someone in to even the odds. You would assume. But I don't know. I think that this is becoming way too one-sided, and we need to start seeing Kenny and Chris and the boys fire back a little bit.
I agree. All right, next up we had Renee Paquette backstage with MJF, and MJF is getting a massage from one of the medical crew, and you can see the Acclaimed kind of sneak in through the back door. I'm not sure if catering was behind them or what, but Max Caster sneaks up and pushes the trainer out of the way, and he starts giving MJF the massage. And MJF, I don't know how, but he figures it out immediately, and he flips out on Max, says, "You've been stalking me," and it's like, "This is weird. Leave me alone." I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. Again, one of my favorite things about AEW is that they really reward the people that the more you pay attention and the more you look at things and you know things, the more you get out of it. And so, like, for the average weekly viewer who just tunes in and then leaves and tunes in and then leaves, like, this was probably just a very random, very funny event for them. Those who dig a little bit deeper and spend time, like, interacting with, like, AEW social media and stuff would know that Max Caster has been jokingly tweeting about how he's dating MJF for, like, 3 years.
He calls him his boyfriend for, like, the last year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, it's been more than that. Like, it's like there's artwork. People make artwork of the two of them together, and like Max Caster is constantly retweeting it. Whenever MJF posts a picture of him and his cat Piper, Max Caster's like, "Who do you think took the picture?" Kiss emoji. And it's usually like MJF like shirtless in bed with Piper. It's just like Caster's like, "Who do you think took the picture? At least credit me," he says.
Oh, that's funny.
But so yeah, it's a nice little moment, and it leads into it's a nice rewarding moment that leads into a little storyline bit where Adam Cole is currently very preoccupied with other things, and so MJF tries to call him, and he's not there.
Oh, he doesn't answer, and you could hear the crowd audibly like, "Oh," that was great.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks when your friend doesn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
Yeah. All right, next up we had Sky Blue versus Timeless Tony Storm. And man, this entrance from Tony Storm is absolutely fabulous. You can see her makeup is just smeared across her face. It was absolutely fantastic. And Tony Storm defeats Sky Blue in a really good match. It wasn't a long match. Maybe 5 minutes. I'm not even sure it went that long, but it was still very good. And Tony Storm is looking absolutely fantastic in this new character. Absolutely love it.
Apart from Tony Storm's entrance, I'm just here so I don't get a fine.
All right. Next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Stokely Hathaway. He was advising that he is one of the board members of Ring of Honor and that Eddie Kingston will be ringside during a 4-way match to become a number 1 contender for his championship. So that's going to be a pretty cool, I guess that'll be cool. I don't know who's going to be in it, but we'll see. And next
we know
up,
who's going to be in it. I just didn't take a picture of the card. I think it was, it was Penta, Lince Dorado, I think.
okay.
And then there's 2 other guys. I'm totally blanking. I didn't take any pictures of the card next week, but
That's
I
all right.
remember looking down and seeing that match. Yeah, I mean, some people aren't going to be happy because it seems like once again, like the Ring of Honor stuff is kind of bleeding back into AEW TV.
Just barely.
Which I don't know. I mean, we could say just barely, but I mean, currently, like your world champion is part of a storyline with the tag titles, and Eddie Kingston is now. I mean, it's Rampage. If there was anywhere. I mean, I was of the opinion that Ring of Honor should just be Rampage. I think they should just be Ring of Honor on Friday night.
I 100% believe so. Should be called Ring of Honor Rampage, please.
I would just say you could just say it's Ring of Honor, period. But I mean, that's not what they're doing, so we're gonna have to go off that. So I mean, I would be cautious about that. I mean, they did a good job kind of getting away from that, and now it seems like they're kind of going back in that direction. And it's okay, it's fine, but let's try to be careful with that. Is all I'm saying.
I was thinking about the show being called like AEW Rampage, the Ring of Honor. You know what I mean?
No, because that's too much. That is way too much. I would just keep it simple. It should just be Ring of Honor. Like that's what it is. AEW Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's fine. AEW Ring of Honor. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, next up, the Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, makes his debut on Dynamite with his theme song, Metalingus from Alter Bridge. Unbelievable. Love the song. Now, there's been a whole bunch of different reports about the Rated R superstar copyright. So a lot of people are saying that the WWE failed to redo the copyright. I actually looked into it more and I found out that the copyright was rejected both times that they tried to actually get the copyright. That the word Rated R superstar was just too close to the word Rated R for like movies. So it was actually denied. Basically anybody can use that copyright. Nobody copyrighted that. It's not copywritten at all.
Right.
Okay. I'm glad you got the same thing because I tried to make sure.
Yeah, I had learned that as well. Is that the trademark was more so abandoned and denied.
Yeah,
like they forgot to file it.
And the abandoned doesn't mean that like they didn't renew it. The abandoned means they stopped trying because they were rejected twice. Like the copyright team or whatever it's called, commission came back like, no, this isn't unique enough. You need to do something else to it. But that doesn't stop him from using it. And, you know, he's got the respect of basically the entire wrestling world. I doubt anybody would try to even attempt to steal it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, Bryson Stott hits a fucking grand slam just as Adam Copeland is coming out. Postseason grand slam.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
Yeah, no, like the timing couldn't have been much more convenient. So of course, I was currently jumping around back here behind me. I did not catch Edge's entrance. I did not catch Adam Copeland.
It was the same as Wrestle Dreams, so you're good. You saw
No, I know, but I'm a big sucker for an entrance. So
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think Adam Copeland has one of the better entrances in the business. But so I missed the entrance and I missed the banter with Tony Schiavone and also what he first started to talk about. I kind of tuned back in when he started getting ready to call Christian Cage, which I thought was.
So he actually said to Tony Schiavone, he said, "This is my ring now, Tony. Hit the bricks." And he's like, "But I love you. I love you. But get out of here." It was great, dude. I was like, yes. So yeah, this was awesome, man. He calls out Christian Cage. He explains why he's here, says his daughter said to go be with Uncle Jay. And he's like, for those of you who don't know, I'll call him by the name you know him, Christian Cage. And dude, what do you think of the breaking of the fourth wall here? He called him Jay like every time.
I mean, it's great.
I
love
like
that.
it too. I actually do, you know.
I've always been a big fan of. I think wrestling's absolutely at its best when you blur the lines. I mean, and this is something AEW does more often than others are, in the industry.
Yeah, and I feel
Where
like
they don't.
Go ahead.
Where they don't insult your intelligence. We all know, like, we're not dumb. We know that a lot of these guys use fake. Like, obviously some names are real, but a lot of them aren't. So, like, it shows the connection that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage have. And again, it's something else that AEW does is they don't act like other places don't exist. The fact of the matter is that Adam Copeland and Christian Cage were one of the top tag teams in WWF for years, and then they were best friends for that, and they were best friends after that. So like just like exactly, Edge calls him out, and Chris, he says like, we were one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Like, let's end our run together. Like, let's do this. And it's great stuff.
Yeah.
And they go to hug. Adam goes to hug Christian Cage. Christian Cage hugs him back and says, "Go fuck yourself."
Dude, I lost my shit when he said, "Go fuck yourself."
That was incredible. That was Christian Cage cementing his legacy as one of the greatest heels of all time. By the way, like, that was wild.
And to go back to the whole him calling him Jay thing, in this situation, it felt almost necessary because we have all been calling Adam, we've been calling him Edge for, I think, 30 years now he's been a wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so we weren't calling him Edge that long. We were calling him, for at least 15 to 20 years, we've been calling him that. And now that we're calling him Adam, it's kind of spurred that thought in your head of like, oh yeah, they have different names in different places, So like, it almost felt necessary for him to call him by his regular name. I really, really I enjoyed what that brought to the emotional side of this story.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. So after Christian Cage tells him to go fuck himself, he walks off. And Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne come out, and they all stand tall on the walkway there. I'm having a brain fart. But we went 8 minutes past tonight. That was really, really nice to see. I love when Tony lets us go long on the show, especially when there's a good reason for it. So great Dynamite tonight. I can't wait to see Collision. Did they announce whether we're going to be seeing Christian on Collision this week? I know they announced he's going to be on a Collision, but I didn't see which one.
In terms of the schedule next week, I didn't write any of it down. I just saw like little things here and there.
All right, let me see if I got it right here, but I probably don't. Well, we'll throw that into the Discord. If you guys would be so kind as to join the Discord, we'll throw all the matches that are going on in Discord. You got anything else you wanted to go over here tonight, Rome?
No, not really. Unfortunately, I don't have any notes really, so I don't have much to discuss. From what I saw, it was a good show. So yeah, I mean, there were some segments that seemed like they were really up my alley, what I really enjoyed, especially things that I did see. Again, it's wrong to say that the wrestling didn't really grab me, but I mean, obviously, because I didn't watch.
You're watching a playoff Phillies game. We understand.
Yeah. It's just.
But I got something for you here. That Eddie Kingston 4-way for the Ring of Honor World Championship #1 contender match It's going to be Johnny TV, Commander, Lince Dorado, and Penta El Zero Miedo.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good 4-way dance right there. That's going to be really good. All right, man. Well, I think that's going to do it for us for tonight. You want to go ahead and close us out?
Absolutely. Well, this has been. Oh no, what episode is this? 179. There it is. This has been episode 179 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to everybody joining me, just doing my best to avoid getting fined by the Broken Tables board of directors. I was just here so I didn't get fined. But the discourse will continue through the week. So please join the Discord where we will continue to talk about AEW and video games and sports and movies and TV and all that good stuff. So join the Discord. You can also like and subscribe. Please do that if you're able to. We really appreciate the support. You can also subscribe and become a member. It really helps us. It supports the channel directly, and it helps us make the content better for you guys. Obviously you'll get something out of it as well. Apart from an increase in quality of our content, you will get the arcade cabinet badge that showcases that you're a supporter, and it'll level up as you go. You can also get access to the AEW emojis, which I believe Jeff will put in the chat if he hasn't already. So make sure you do all that. Follow us on Twitter. I know that Twitter's trying to spread false information now because you can't see article headlines. It's just a picture and all that stuff. But we're still there. Like rats on a sinking ship. Oh wait, no, the rats get off the ship, don't they? Okay, that's not a good analogy. Like captains going down with the ship. That's not good either. We're not captains.
Hey,
we don't run Twitter. Yeah.
We get Kira Hogan versus Tony Storm on Collision.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us here tonight. But until next time, Top Guys out.